All right, welcome back. We're back a week late, but we're here. Another episode of Flat Stick Focus. I'm Parker. Who are you?
And I'm Glenn.
There we go.
Everybody can call me G.
G. He's got all kinds of nicknames. Um,
Yeah, I got all kinds.
so yeah, sorry for the delay. I was on vacation last week and didn't get the information put out, so we were a little late, but we appreciate you hanging in. We got a couple hopefully pretty exciting episodes coming up to where you're gonna get to hear. We're gonna get back on the guest bandwagon, so it's not just gonna be mine and G's face on here. We got some, which is
I don't
probably
know,
about.
man. I think people love seeing our pretty faces. I mean, we're good looking men. Let's just roll with it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll take that. But yeah, we got like I would say honestly one like these two episodes are two of like the ones I've looked forward to the most of any of our time in Flat Stick Focus.
True. Yeah, especially the next one. I didn't. You surprised me with that one. You
Yeah,
surprised me with
it's
a few guests. You surprised me with a few guests, and man, I don't know. It's definitely a top fiver for me. I mean, it's hard to pick between Denny McCarthy and Stan Utley, and
it is. Drew
and
Love,
you,
that was a
you know
fun one.
it's Drew Love, Drew Page. I mean, man, we've had some we've
Page.
had some pretty stellar guests for as small as we are.
We had, we were fortunate to have on Sam Hahn early on. Like you said, Stan Utley, Josie, Joe. We've had some really good ones on. I will say these are two of the ones I've looked forward to the most. There's been some really good ones. So I'm not going to throw anybody at the top because that could change just like everything else for
Yeah.
me day by day. But definitely something I'm very excited about. We'll put some more information out about at least one of those early. So it will give everybody a chance to get involved with that episode because I think we will have some folks that want to be involved with that,
Oh
whether
yeah.
questions, comments, whatever. So that's going to be exciting. Sorry if there's a glare off my glasses. I'm doing the glasses thing today, and on video, unfortunately, that's going to be part of it because it's so pretty outside and the screen's reflecting back, and I'm just going to roll with it. So we got that coming up. I don't think we've recorded since it's been a minute since we've recorded. I don't know that we've recorded since U.S. Open. Uh,
Hmm.
we
Yeah.
had Rocket Mortgage recently. There have been some good tournaments.
Whew.
So, what were your thoughts? Actually, did we record? We did record during Open Week
Okay. Okay.
because
That's what it
we
was.
predicted scores. We predicted scores.
Yeah. That's right. I will say
Um,
I was closer. I was at -4.
yeah. What
You
was Bryson? What did he end up? I can't remember.
was it 7, 9, 7 or 9?
I can't remember. They did better than I thought they would. I think they watered the course a pretty decent amount. It looked kind of soft to me, and I heard them
Okay.
talking about they were watering it, so I could see that. I mean, that's so basically with soft greens, they shot single digits under par there. So I think if they had let it go and let it stay firm and fast, it would have been pretty tough. But it was a great
Yeah.
tournament.
It was. Man, whew, that up and down on 18. Man, I was nervous for him when he was getting ready to hit that shot. And then I don't know if you watched any of the post round stuff, but then Johnson Wagner's out there kind of practicing it, and all of a sudden Bryson walks up with the trophy, and he's like, just kind of talking him through it. And Johnson had sit in there so tight, and they just, I mean, he was as excited as Bryson was winning the Open just then.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was a great tournament. Um, Exciting pretty much from the get go. Um, you know, I I don't want to get into it a whole lot, but the whole thing with Rory was interesting. Just obviously, you feel for him on those putts that he missed. Um, I I was assuming Brad Faxon and Rory were still working together, and you've got Brad Faxon calling the tournament. Um,
Wait, I don't know that I heard any of this. What happened between? Because I thought Faxon and Rory were working together. What happened?
well, the only and I'm not trying to start anything, but just what I saw, I thought it was
Well,
odd.
no, I mean, I'm sure something's been written on it or something, right?
Well, I haven't really looked into it much afterwards, but after the tournament, Faxon posted a picture of himself with Bryson and Bryson's caddy, with Bryson maybe like holding the trophy, which I thought was just, and there may not be anything to it. I mean, he's calling the tournament and he's with, the TV crew or whatever, and maybe that's just what they were doing. Um, but it just, during that whole scene, it was just kind of tough with Rory missing those short putts and um, just interesting, interesting time for Rory. That was pretty tough.
Well, and everybody was talking about that putt on 18, that he should have made it, but man, that wasn't an easy putt. I mean, that was a downhill slider. I mean, if you go back and look at his hit, like I don't necessarily think he pushed it or anything. Man, he was aimed well left of the hole and it slid that hard. I mean, if anything, if I'm in Rory's shoes, which I'm certainly not, I'm sitting here in an Adirondack chair right now, but I'm looking at the putt more on 16 than I am the putt on 8. The putt on 18 was never by any stretch of the imagination a gimme. That was a really tough putt.
I agree. I was in the same frame of mind as you were. I thought the putt on 16 that he missed was a much worse miss than the one on 18. It didn't look like he hit that bad a putt to me on 18. I will say Rory's putting stroke is interesting to me. Um, I feel like he hits the ball really high on the ball with the putter.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw somebody else. I saw somebody was talking about that, and posting some video of it, and it's an odd strike to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something that's very easily fixable by just changing ball position. So there must be a reason why he and Faxon or he and whoever don't change that, because I'm sure they know that and see that. But it
Yeah.
just I don't know. It just seems like he has this. Uh, to me, when you're hitting that much up on the ball, it seems like it gives you a much larger tendency to come out of it and block putts to the right.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I didn't think the putt he hit on 18 was that bad. The putt he hit on 16 was the one that probably hurts his feelings the most. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I mean, it's tough though. It was tough to watch, but it was good for Bryson to I mean, even though Rory missed those putts, the tournament still wasn't handed to Bryson. I mean, his the par 18 first off where your drive ended up, then you had a tree in your backswing, then you make a punch shot that you know I mean, I guess I think he wasn't exactly aiming for the bunker. He thought it was going to go a touch more left. It didn't. But then to have that up and down, I mean, he won the tournament. It wasn't just handed to him. Like he very easily could have bogeyed, maybe even double 18. Um, and then we're going straight to a playoff if he misses that bunker shot. I mean, it was good to see that it just wasn't handed to him, and it sounded like Rory congratulated him, and then Rory kind of left a little early, but I mean, who wouldn't be a little upset after just losing the Open after the missed putt on 16, really?
yeah. I
So
mean, Bryson could have very easily hit that bunker shot into the cart barn. So that was a fantastic golf shot. I'm still on the bandwagon. I think the arm lock putter should be banned. I still think it should be banned. I probably believe so even more now. But hey, if it's not illegal, go try it. Keep going,
have you noticed Bryson's grip?
dude. Okay, did he change the orientation of his grip? Did he?
So the flat part of the grip now faces his body.
Yeah, I
not
don't
the target
I
like it
can't
used
figure
to.
that out. I can't figure that out. I thought I saw that, but then I couldn't tell because he sets his putter
Mhm.
down when he's messing around with his ball. He changes the putter. He doesn't hold it. I don't feel like I would hold it, so I couldn't get the orientation right. But it looked like he changed the way his grip was on, and I don't understand
Yes,
that. I don't. I mean,
yes.
I'm not saying there's
The
anything wrong
grip
with it.
is
I just don't know
facing
why he
his
does it.
body.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if anything, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, to me, those grips were intended for the flat part, which is pretty wide to be facing the target and against your arm. And to me, that would help keep the face square. Obviously, I mean, if anybody knows anything about the science of anything in golf, it's going to be Bryson. So there must be a reason for it. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
there's not a golfer on this planet that is more equipment technical than Bryson.
Yeah, that struck me when I first saw it. Um, it just didn't look the same. I was like, "Whoa, what's happening?" Because he bends down and he messes with the ball and he holds the putter kind of funky. So it's like, wait, is the grip turned or does he just have the putter head turned? Like, what's going on here? But yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's an interesting deal. Obviously, it's working for him. Again, if it's not illegal, go for it. Go try it. To me, if you can put enough time in to learn how to do it, it seems like it's an advantage. That's why I think it should be illegal. Um, but hey, it's not, so go do it. Um,
Okay, on that line, how do you feel about the Super Stroke wrist lock grip that locks against your wrist?
I think that should probably be illegal too. I like that.
So you're just okay. So
I
you're
don't. I
just
don't.
one style of putting, like
Yeah, I think you should have to hold it and stroke it, not lock it onto something else. I think you should have like
how do you
basically two touch points, which would be one like each hand. So once you add a third
how do
touch
you
point, which would be like a wrist or a forearm or something like that, that's where you lose me.
how do you feel about the broomstick putter not being anchored?
I'm fine with it. It
You're
feels
good with it?
horrible to me. I don't know how anybody puts like that.
Okay.
I really
Okay.
don't. Like I understand how people could anchor it and use it. I have no idea how somebody puts with a long putter. And clearly, it works for Bernhard and all these other guys that are doing. It feels terrible
Akshay.
to me. Akshay,
Yeah.
we'll get into that in a second. Um, I mean, if it's not touching another part of their body, I'm fine with it.
Okay. And the only thing I can think, which I've never tried a broomstick, the only thing I can think of is when you're holding it in your chest. I'm assuming that your other anchor spot is your bicep against. So for me, it would be my right bicep is anchored against my body. So
Yeah.
that's the only way I can think of. I want to try one. I really do, just to see what it feels like. I know it's going to feel horrible probably the first few times I putt with it.
Well, if you watch like Ricky Fowler,
Mm-hmm.
he he has real tight elbows. Um, he keeps his
Okay.
elbows in real tight to his rib cage, which I really like the way that looks. So I feel like he kind of I'm not saying he anchors by any means, but like his elbows are seemingly closer into his body than a lot of people's, and they could even touch his rib cage. I'm fine with that. I mean that's not illegal. It's the grip touching something else that
Yeah.
I think should be illegal. Now, then that kind of makes me think about like Bernhard Langer used to do like the clamp or whatever, but
Okay.
I don't think that bugs me because there were still only two two touch points. I actually no, there's not. There's not because it's you're clamping it against your wrist, so there's really three. So yeah, I don't like that either. So I'm a two touch point guy, and it's got to be your two hands. You can claw it, you can pencil it, you can left hand low, you can scissor, whatever. I don't care. But I don't think it should be able to touch another part of your arm or chest or whatever.
Now, is that something that should be bifurcated? Do you think 30 handicap, if it helps them putt, do you, because I mean, they're already struggling with the game, but the arm lock, maybe that's the one thing that they're halfway decent at because they're able to lock it, but
I
they're still shooting 110.
I think at this point, I mean, now that they've gone ahead and banned anchored putting, I don't think they should bifurcate. First of all, I don't think we should have ever had anchored putting, belly putting, and all that to begin with. Once we had it, instead of taking it away from everybody, I think that's where they should have bifurcated it and taken it away from the tour players, and then kept it
Okay.
with everybody else, and then it would have been fine. But now that they've gone back, I don't think you go back and bifurcate again. But I also think they should do the same thing. This whole golf ball rollback thing drives me crazy. I don't know that I necessarily mind a rollback on the golf ball, but it needs to be like a legitimate rollback. To me, this is just like they're rolling it back to like somebody saw it's like the equivalent of like I'm making this up, but it was something like the 2013 Pro V1. Okay.
Okay.
2013 Pro V1 was a fantastic golf ball, I'm sure. I think if they're going to roll it back, they need to roll it back to where we're playing golf with like Balata type golf balls, to where it's actually changing the game, to where it matters if you hit it on the middle of the club face. Because the 2013 Pro V1 still flew much straighter and much longer than like a Balata. If you when you were playing Balata golf balls, like you had to hit it in the middle. If you didn't, it was curving off the world. You were going to hit it in the rough. Like you had to hit it solid. That's what if we're going to go through all this process of the game needs to be harder by making the ball go shorter, then make it go 30 yards shorter, not 10 yards shorter, and make it curve more. It goes so straight now. It's like that's why I hate watching all this, like just like bomb and gouge. Like it doesn't matter. Like straight hitters have basically no chance at 80% of the tour events anymore. But if you were
Now,
in a Balata ball, these shorter guys, everybody would have a chance, more of a chance at that point, in my opinion.
now, kind of what I've been preaching, and I saw one person on Instagram mention it, but I feel like Pinehurst kind of proved my point. What I've been saying the whole time. They want to change the ball. They want to, man, the best players in the world. I'm talking the best players in the world. It didn't matter how far you hit it. Man, there was such an advantage to hitting the fairway. That just proves to me they're wanting to change the courses. I mean, honestly, like we're talking the best players in the world, and -7 was as low as anybody could get. And granted, it was a guy that hits it very far, but he had to make a miraculous two shots on the 18th hole to keep -7, or he's back down to -6. I mean, it really came down to from 100 yards in, and he was up against a root, he was up against a clump of grass. Like I feel like Pinehurst kind of proved my point that I've been saying this whole time is, and like you said, they're watering that golf course. Okay, you just stretch it out a little bit, just a fraction, and I think scores are -4, -5, possibly even -3s winning that tournament.
Well, I gotta say, one, we've got so Mike Wan is the CEO of the USGA now. I think he's really good. He did a lot with the LPGA Tour, and I think he's really good, especially as a really good speaker and face for the USGA. They talked to him about it during the US Open about the rollback, and he brings up a good point. He's like, I'm not worried about golf now. I'm worried about golf in 50 years. Like if we keep adding 2 yards a year for the next 50 years, that's what he's worried about. And I totally I can get on board with that and I can support that. But I think if we're going to go backwards, we need to go backwards to where it makes a difference. I really don't think going back to the 2013 version of the Pro V1 or whatever it is, like distance wise, I really don't think that's going to make that much of a difference. So to me, it's kind of like, what's the point? We're getting everybody in this big uproar about going backwards. So, but we're doing it so that tour players hit it 8 yards shorter or 12 yards shorter or whatever it is. And it's like, I don't think we need to change the entirety of the game because of how the tour players do, which I know they'll argue that's not what they're doing, but nobody else wants to hit it shorter. other than, the tour pros are the only people that really need to hit it shorter for the most part. And if you're going to make the tour pros hit it shorter, make it to where it's a fundamental change. Like it actually alters the way golf is played. And I think if you go back to a ball that's like a wound ball that's much spinnier, it makes guys like even Ricky, like guys that are a little bit shorter off the tee, straight, like Zach Johnson has had an amazing career for a guy that hits it the distance he does. If he was 10 yards or 10 yards, if he was 10 years younger, I don't know that he would have been able to do what he's done. Like if he would have come along 10 years later, I think the game changed so much in the
Mhm.
last 10 years that I don't know that he could compete and win two majors like he did. So I would like to see it to where long hitters still have an advantage, but short hitters have the advantage of being able to control it better. If Bryson can hit it 380 off the toe and hit it in the first cut or the right side of the fairway, that's not, to me, that's not golf. Like you should be punished for a mishit.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a slippery slope. I mean it, and I get that, but I mean to be fair, I'm not that worried about it now. If we're talking the 2013 Pro V, shoot, man, I'm probably playing Pro Vs right now that still have the dimple count on them. If we're being honest.
I did read it is something like that. Like I'm probably going to be off a little bit, but it's like basically
Yeah.
that version is what we're going back to. So, 10 years ago, whatever.
Well, then and if he's worried about the future of the game, why don't we just stop where we are? Why do we have to go back? Okay, if
Yeah,
we're
and
at
I think that brings up a good point. The ball companies have a lot to say. They have a lot of stake in this.
mhm.
Like if you're going to limit us, then how do we sell new products and things like that? But they've done this with the driver. They limited the
Well, I mean,
and people are still able to come up with new designs that are
I
supposedly
just think
10 yards longer every year, seemingly.
well, and I think that's where bifurcation. I mean, the thing is, and you know as well as I do, man, the pros don't play what we play anyway. Like the, I mean, you saw it
Especially
working at
equipment.
Wills. Like, sure they're playing a QI10. But man, this QI10 didn't come off the rack at a sporting goods store. It came off a tour truck that was core tested in several spots. Like I mean, sure it's the same, but it's the best of the same, if that makes sense. So I mean, they're already the best players in the world. They get the best equipment too. Like they get the best heads. They get the best everything. I mean, they're playing with, they're already not playing for the most part what we're playing.
Well, and I get the idea and I understand why everybody wants to say that we all play by the same rules and do all that. But I mean, we really don't. Like, I don't have 15,000 people lining the hole when I hit one, bone one over the green into the 3 foot tall rough, helping me find the ball. Like, I lose that ball. They don't. I if I hit one way left and long of the green, I don't hit a TV tower and the ball stops 5 yards behind the green. My ball keeps sailing 15 yards back there into the water or whatever. Like they already are playing a different type of golf than we are. They're playing this arena golf. Like they got spotters, they got towers, they've got all kinds of stuff. All these volunteers. Like, yes, it's the same game, but it's not the same game. So I don't really understand. I think there may be a small uproar if there was like bifurcation, especially equipment. If they change like some of the equipment rules for the tour, I think you would see a small uproar of people that would last a short period of time, and then everyone would just, for the most part, forget about it or stop caring. Like
Yeah.
you
Now,
and I
let me ask
know
you this though.
they're not playing with the
I
same
was going to
equipment.
say we don't play the same. what are your chances? Let's just say you hit one a little left. What are your chances of getting a maintenance crew or two foursomes together to move a boulder for you to be able to hit a shot?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, stuff like that. Like you just don't. I don't have a ruling. I don't have a rules official that I can call over and ask a question and have an answer and get the right answer every time. I don't have, like conditions. Like we're not playing the same conditions they are. They're playing prototype golf balls that we've never seen. They're playing different groove patterns probably that than we've never seen. Different. They're playing all kinds of prototype stuff that we've never seen.
Yeah.
So they're not playing the equipment that we're playing now. They can say they are on TV and all that stuff, and sometimes it is. Sometimes guys are playing very
Sometimes.
similar stuff that we can buy, but sometimes they're not. And so I don't know. I think they don't have to change necessarily a lot of the rules, but just like the equipment stuff, I really don't think it would be a very big deal.
No. No.
So
All right.
back to our other topic on Akshay. That was pretty heartbreaking. I basically just kind of fast forward or kind of found the recorded part,
Yeah.
like his approach into 18 because we were driving home Sunday. Just
He had a
brutal.
beautiful approach in. I mean, it was just I think the first putt is really what got him.
Yeah, I think it was like his first miss inside of like 6 feet or something for the week, and just
Yeah.
uncharacteristic. It was not his best second putt. Never got it up online where he wanted to. I don't think. Um, just I'm sure nerves play somewhat of a
Mm-hmm.
part in that, especially in leaving that first putt short. Maybe looking up early on the next one, but I mean the kid can obviously play. He's a winner. Um,
Yeah.
Seems like just an awesome guy, honestly. Like
Yeah.
just one of those guys that I think everybody wants to pull for because he just handles everything the right way. Obviously he beat, friend of the pod, Denny McCarthy in a playoff where he threw his shoulder out of socket in the celebration. Just like one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Um, I mean, I thought that was crazy until Scotty got arrested on the way to the PGA Championship, and that just threw everything else out the window. But I mean,
It's been a crazy year for golf, man. It really has.
can we just talk about? I mean, not that everybody hasn't all year long. This run that Scotty's on is very Tiger like. I know everybody's going to compare him, and they're going to show like his scoring average this year. I saw a stat. His scoring average this year would rank seventh all time, and Tiger has one, two, three, four, five, and six. So I mean, like I get it. He's not Tiger Woods, but like this is a new era. It's just different golf. He's like he's winning everything he's playing in pretty much. He got shafted, I think, on the PGA Championship. I was hoping he would contend at the US Open. Obviously, he got his hair cut and shaved. Clearly, that was just what threw everything off. I'm sure that had everything to do with it. Otherwise, he probably would have been hoisting the trophy. No, I'm just kidding. But he just seems like such a good dude, along with Akshay. But I just want to say that again
Yeah.
because there he goes again, wins another signature event. He's got like, does he have the jacket slam this year? So he won the green jacket for the Masters. He won the Arnold
Mm-hmm.
Palmer, which is a sweater. We'll count that.
Cardigan. Yeah.
He won Harbor Town, which is the plaid jacket. He won um what's the one he just won? Um, Colonial? Did he win? No. I can't remember. But he won another jacket, I think. I don't know how many tournaments hand out jackets, but he's won like every one of them this year.
Did he win? I don't remember.
I should
What
know.
was
I
his
don't.
last? What's his last? You don't get one for the. He didn't win the Memorial, did he? No.
He won in TBC River Highlands, and I think he got a jacket for that. Um, he may have picked up the jacket slam this year. Um,
That's hilarious.
I need to look that up. I'm sure. Yes, he did win the Memorial, which I believe is another jacket, if I'm not mistaken. It is. It is a jacket, I believe. Um,
Okay.
Memorial jacket. I was trying to look it up here. I don't see it, but I know Jack wears one that's got the trophy on it when he's talking in the
Yep.
booth.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, like if he won a jacket, it's like we need to do some research on it because the dude's just cleaned up all the jacketed events. So be on the lookout. If there's another
He's
one that
got a
hands out a
closet
jacket,
full of trophies.
watch out for Scotty in any event that gives a jacket. However, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't the Tour Championship do a jacket?
Do they?
Wasn't there like a gold jacket? They used to give out the gold jacket for the.
That's what Shooter McGavin never won, right?
Am I
Winning the
wrong?
gold
Maybe
jacket.
I'm wrong. I may be wrong. What's Tiger wearing this gold jacket for? I don't know. But anyway, tournaments that have a jacket, watch out because Scotty wins those. What else is new? Any new equipment? Any new revelations in your own golf game? Any new purchases? What's new with you?
Okay, so I'm currently I went this past Friday for a golf lesson at Biltmore Forest. We get done with the lesson, we hit balls for about 45 minutes. And my instructor said, "Would you like to go play a hole?" And I said, "Sure." So we drive over to 14, the short par four.
Okay.
And she's like, "I don't know that driver's the play. Let's try 3-wood." And I was like, "All right." So, I've been fighting this nasty little block cut now for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, 12. I don't know. It's been a while. Like, it's so long, I don't remember the last time that I hit a ball to the right. And I hit one to the right. Well, it's in the air, and it hits like a metal tin roof sound. Okay, so I'm like, well, that's long gone. Honestly, if it hadn't drew, it would have been okay. I pulled it a little bit, but I still think I'm right rough at worst if it doesn't draw. It's snapping though, and I get over there, can't find the ball. So she was like, well, let's just drop one. So I drop one edge of the fairway, hit the shot. It goes a little long. Well, as I'm putting my club back in the bag, a guy walks over and he says, super nice guy. But he said, "Is this your ball?" And I was like, "It is." And he was like, "Well, it broke my window." So I'm like, I thought he was kidding. I really did. Like knowing me, I'm a jokester. That's what I'm doing to somebody. I'm gonna be like, "Man, you just broke out like my picture window." And but he wasn't joking. He said, "Do you want to come look at it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll come look at it." So sure enough, walk over there. Now, had this ball been 4 inches to the right, Parker, I'm breaking a window. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. So if my ball had been 4 inches to the right, I'm breaking a window that, no joke, it's like 6 feet tall and about 15 feet wide. The window I broke was about the size of a bathroom tile. So I told John the pro, and they're gonna fix it, invoice the club, and then I'll reimburse them. So, I'm expecting it to be probably $200 to $300 for this little window. So, I told her possibly the greatest coaching of all time. I mean, I the last time I can tell myself I came over the top, it cost me $300. So the chances of me coming over the top anymore is really slim because, it fixed me.
There you
So,
go.
so yeah,
Um,
we kept playing, and she's like, "You want to play another hole?" And I was like, "I'll be honest, I'm so shook up right now. I really just want to go home." So,
I hear you.
but I never broke a window, man. I've hit a house. I don't think I've ever hit a car. That's my first window. Um, Now, I mean, I've hit plenty of roofs and sides of houses and buildings and stuff like that. Don't know that I've ever. Well, this is certainly my first window, and I really don't think I've ever hit a car.
Yeah, that's tough. That's too bad. That's all I
Yeah,
can say on that. That's just there's nothing good that anybody can say about that. That's
you know, and
unfortunate.
and and the angle that this ball came in on, man, it had to go through probably 11 trees. I'm serious. Like it wasn't just wide open. Like it had to go through a rainforest before it finds this window.
Good thing you found the
But
little one.
you know,
Yeah, that's
yes, good thing I found the little window.
that's tough. How about equipment wise? Any changes, additions, purchases?
Um, no changes that I know of. Um,
That cannot be true.
uh, no, I mean, I'm pretty happy with my setup right now. I'm kind of tinkering with some irons right now, but um, I put the gray Artera in the driver, loving it. Um, but yeah, I am in the process of making a putter purchase.
Ooh.
It hasn't been official yet, but when it does, I'll share some pictures and tell people about it. I hope I can get it because it'll kind of, if I can get this putter, it's not my grail, but it is very close to my grail. It's as close as I feel like I'm ever going to get to my true
Closer,
grail putter.
closer than your most recent pickup, or your
Yes.
most recent
Could not be
larger purchase.
farther from hoe hang, finish, um, etc. from my latest pickups.
Could this be? Could this be a putter that we've discussed before? That is a known putter in the lefty community.
I don't know if we've talked about it. I don't even know if I've sent you or shown you pictures of it.
Okay,
I
is
will
it
when
an
we're
older
done.
putter or a newer putter?
It's an older one.
Okay,
I'm going to say probably early to mid 2000s is my best guess.
could be the one I'm thinking of. Is it black?
It is.
Okay, could be.
It is.
Could be.
So, it's close. Which brings me to my next point. Go ahead, though. Did you have any equipment changes? Have you been playing? I did talk to Todd the other day. I was having to pick some clubs up, and he said Parker's actually out there. He said he's like, Glenn, I'm not kidding. He has brought no less than 20 putters to this putting green.
Dude, honestly, no joke, I didn't count them, but I'm gonna say it was closer to 35 to 40. They did not all fit in one staff bag. So, and really, that
Did
wasn't
did did one win out over the others?
not really. I mean, honestly, not really. Like, I just wanted to putt with a bunch of putters that I hadn't putted with or that I hadn't putted with in a while. Like, I don't ever practice anymore, hardly. So I was like, man, I got a day. I want to go just putt and just bring a bunch of putters and just have fun. Like, it wasn't really like, I mean, I was obviously gonna find one that I was gonna use, but I wasn't like, oh, like I'm in desperation mode. I gotta find a putter. It was more just like I wanted to go do it to have fun. So I took, yeah, a ton of putters. Nothing really like stood out. I have learned though that there are currently a handful of putters, maybe more than a handful, but like there is a group of putters that when I sit down, like when I set them down and address a ball, like I feel differently about them than other putters. It's like they just have the right look, the right grip, the right feel, just something about them like sets them apart at the moment. And it's like that Byron
Yeah.
prototype that you know about, the Odyssey, the Sabertooth.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few others too that just like kind of stood out. Dude, that Finch, that Chris Finch putter, that custom putter that I got that's black with like the Tiffany blue paint finish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, dude, that thing is just like it feels so good. Um,
Why don't you play with it?
I'm going to like I don't play. That's the thing. I play like once a month,
Yeah.
and so it's like I've got 10 putters that I want to take out, but I play once a month. So it's like I use one here, and the next month I use another one. It's a terrible way to play, but it's fun. So I came away from that. I wanted to kind of go mallet just to see because I just wanted to try it. So I found this Lahosi / LaJosie. Sorry, Carrie, Kari. I'm mispronouncing your name. I always thought it was
You
Kari.
don't know first or last name, do you?
And I should. Like I worked for him for a little bit, but we always communicated via email. I always thought it was Kari Lahosi. It just looks like that. But then I had an Australian guy tell me it's like Lajosi. So
Could be Kari, could be
could be
Carrie. So you
Kari,
could
could be
it's
Carrie.
either
I
Carrie
should know that. My
LaJosie or
apology.
Carrie LaHosie.
I apologize, Kari, Carrie. If I hope you listen to this. I really like your stuff. We talked. We continue to talk. I consider him a putter friend in the community. Awesome putters, um, which we'll get into some of that a little bit later tonight. But anyway, I had this wide body, like the DD201, which is like his answer. He has two. He had like a one called a Didge and one called a DD201. I think this is the DD201, and it's a wide body, so it's basically like a a Newport Plus with a plumber's neck, which I haven't putted with a plumber's neck much in a long time. And I started rolling it pretty well, and I had these like three putts set up that I used every putter with pretty much, and it was like a 10-footer left to right, then like a 30-footer, 25-footer like right to left, and then a 25-footer like fairly straight kind of a double breaker. So I make the 10-footer with the wide body, set it down,
Okay.
make the 25/30-footer, and then come around and lip out the third putt.
Ooh.
So I was like, okay, good mojo. I'm going with that. Took it to the beach to play because I played one round when we were at the beach last week.
Okay.
Putted horrible. I didn't putt that bad. I just didn't make anything hardly. I
Okay.
wasn't like three putting every hole, but I couldn't make putts that I should have at least made some of. So back to the drawing board.
Now, did you look like a tour event where the staff bag, and did you lean the putters against the bag all the way around the bag?
So here's the thing: the bag, it was my Strixon staff bag. It had, I'm not lying. It probably had close to 30 putters in it by itself, maybe more. I don't know. And so I didn't want to stand it up because I didn't want it to fall over. So I set the bag down and then pulled all the putters out and just kind of ended up resting them against the laid down bag based on how many putts I made with each putter. And then once I got done with that bag, I went back to the car and I had another bag that had 7 putters in it, maybe.
Did anybody ask you any questions? Did they look at you
Dude,
funny? Did
a
did
lot
they
of
think
people,
you were
yes.
trying to say?
Yes. I had somebody ask me if it was a yard sale or something to that effect, or if I was selling some, or multiple people mentioned that. I think somebody thought you were selling them, blah, 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 blah. Todd came over, putted some. There was another guy that I met that hit some putts with some. People were walking by and looking like, I mean, I was on the putting green, I'm not lying, for probably 3 or 4 hours. So like
Wow.
there was a lot of traffic within that amount of time.
Now, so there were no standouts other than the wide body that you were making
There
putts with
were
that day.
there
Were there
were
any putters
standouts.
on the flip side of the coin? Okay, were there any putters on the opposite side of that coin where you couldn't have hit the hole if it was the size of a trash can with it?
Yes, and I'm like drawing a little bit of a blank on which ones there were, but like so basically this is what I do. I'm weird, but this is what I do. And I didn't really get to go through the full test because there were guys there. I was talking to people. Like I didn't really get to focus on like what I was trying to do like I normally would. Plus, I had a whole lot more putters than I would normally bring to do this. Like normally I might bring
Mm-hmm.
10, which is still a lot,
Yeah.
but it's not 40 or whatever, 30. So what I like to do is I like to be very consistent. So I went and set up a putt. It was like a 10-footer uphill right to left. And I hit 3 putts
Okay.
with every putter. And sometimes I might take like all the putters that I make 2 or 3 with, and they might get to go to the next round. Everything else gets eliminated.
Okay.
Sometimes I might only take the ones that I make the highest amount with. Just kind of depends on the day. But there were definitely some that I made 0 with on the 10-footers that didn't even go to the next round. There were probably some that I really liked when I set them down that I didn't make any putts with. And that's where
Okay.
I have a hard time. Because like there'll be some putters
Yeah.
really like that I might make 2 out of the 3, and then I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to take that one to the next round just to see. So I might have an exemption for
Okay.
so
Okay. All
it's
right.
all feel based, but it's a lot of fun to do that. Like go to the green, go to the putting green if if you're looking at making a putter change, take a handful of putters, set up your own little putter test combine and just go through the stages until you find one winner. Honestly, I didn't get to do the whole test like I would have normally wanted to, so I didn't really have a winner, but I did putt well with that low C at the end, and
There
so
you go.
and unfortunately it
Okay.
didn't perform.
Well, I feel like that's a good segue into our topic tonight. And to be fair, my phone is dying at a very rapid pace, so it's a good time to jolt into this.
Okay.
So, the question tonight is you have to design 3 putters. One, let's see, let's just go. Our number 1 putter will be under $1,000. Our second putter is $1,000 to $2,000. And our third custom is 2,000 plus.
Okay.
So you start. You can go in either order. You can start most expensive to least, or you can go least to most. It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna go least to most, and I've got a caveat
Okay.
to mine. If you've listened to this podcast for a while, you probably know I have an affinity for boutique custom putters. I try to order at least one a year. So I have ordered from several different putter manufacturers over the years. I decided to make my list on and only include manufacturers that I have not ordered a custom putter from before. So that eliminates a lot like Kerry Lahosi, Byron Morgan, which unfortunately can't really get anymore. The newest one, which was Royal Pain, which is off the charts if you're going to order one. Synergy, Goodwood, Xenon, which I love, TP Mills. Anyway, so
Okay, and
I do
I'll also
eliminate.
throw another twist in that, because when you get to the 2,000 plus category, let's just say, because for mine, I'm going to do a maker that really doesn't accept custom orders, but I'm going to do it anyway.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm probably in the same boat. We're probably ordering
Okay,
from the same person.
well, let's go.
So my least expensive one, and this kind of changed a little bit.
Sub $1,000.
Yeah, sub $1,000, and I missed some of the news on this a little bit. We got out of the podcast game a little bit, and I kind of missed. I don't know exactly all the deal that's going on, but my first one is Toulon. So, back a few years ago, they used to have the Toulon Garage. You could go on the website and basically custom order kind of any of their putter models and get them done like you wanted to. And then Sean kind of left Odyssey and started Toulon Golf, which is different than like Toulon putters, but he's still making putters, and Callaway maybe still has something to do with Toulon Golf. So, and then one of his sons still works for Callaway. It's an interesting situation. But you can go on Toulon Golf right now and order one of their like their most recent, their 2024 models. Sorry, I know this glare is probably killing people on my glasses. It's getting
No,
on my
you're good.
as well. You can go and order one of their 2024 like first run models, and you can kind of customize it. So I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
Not a full custom like custom head shape and all that, but I'm gonna go with the Atlanta model, which is kind of like the
Oh, I
mid
like it.
mallet, smaller mallet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going flow neck. I'm going. I'm probably gonna go with like their rose finish, like rose goldy type finish or something. I think they called it something rose. And you may not have the option on these to do the finish, but flow neck, line on top. Um, I want it as heavy as possible.
Okay. When you say heavy as possible, what's your ideal weight?
Well, sort of. So you can order that head. I looked tonight. You can order it. I think stock is like 340, but you can get it at 380. But the only way to get it at 380 is with like the counterbalance grip. So
Okay.
if I had to do that, I would order it at, and you have to get it at 35 inches or longer. So I would get it at 35 with the counterbalance grip, take the grip off. Although I might try it with the counterbalance grip first. But anyway, I would probably end up at 34 inches with a really heavy putter, line on top. I'm putting my I would love to be able, if we're able to custom stamp it, which I don't know if you are on those, but we'll pretend that we are for now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting my name, and I'm putting 2024 because, like I said, I like to do one every year. That would be my 24. So yeah, flow neck with a single line on top.
Okay. When you say flow, do you mean the little short slant that he does, or are you talking like a true flow with some offset
No,
kind
I'll go.
of?
Well, I'll go with his short slant. That's probably my only option.
Okay. Okay. All right.
You're up.
Now, okay. So sub 1,000. Man, this is a tough one. Because there's some good putter makers. The first thing that comes to mind would probably be a Brandon Matthew, a fellow
Yeah,
lefty.
that's pushing it. I don't know. I thought about him too. I feel like he's more than that, but I may be wrong.
Um,
We'll
or
pretend he's not for
Brandon
now.
Matthew was the first one. I know initially, I think a custom putter from him was like 5 to 6. So
Okay,
I don't know his new pricing. Um, but I'm gonna have to go with Brandon Matthew. I really like his answer style head. Um, but his stampings are really good. He's a fellow lefty, so he does a ton of lefty. Um, Stamping wise, man, I'm pretty simple. I want a sight line. Um, Honestly, I kind of want a long neck on it.
Custom
Go ahead.
start at 800, so you're good.
I'm good. Um,
Long neck.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go long neck. Probably minimalistic stamping. The stampings that I do want are probably the Roman numerals of my kids' birthdays. Just because I kind of do that now. On my latest Mackenzie, actually when you unzip the pocket, it's got the Roman numerals of the dates or the days of the month that my kids were born on. So I'll probably just roll with that on the putter stamping too. Something like a black finish, kind of like the triple black that Scotty used to do. It's kind of that matte black finish with some off white paint. Something about that off white with that matte black just looks so good to me.
It does.
Um, I'm kind of like you though, as heavy as possible. I'm really so now that I have two Camerons with the tungsten with the fixed tungsten weights in the putter. Man, I kind of dig that look, and I would probably request that something like a tungsten weight be or two of them be added to that putter if it's possible.
Cool.
So that's mine. 33 inches. Probably some. I don't know. I mean, the grips change all the time for me, man. I change grips so often, but I would like to think that a nice standard perforated leather stitchback grip would suit me, but it would come off probably immediately and replaced with like a rubber a
I
rubber grip.
Yeah, I forgot to mention I like that. I would do like a semi-round grip. You made me think about it.
Okay.
Like I love the round back, like like a paddle kind of round
Hmm.
back flat front. All right, so
Okay.
that would do what? My turn.
Yep. 1,000 to 2,000.
All right, so on this one, I mean, there's a ton in this. Obviously, some of mine are probably ruled out. Um, there were a couple that I was choosing between, but for now, I'm gonna go with Crew.
Ooh.
So they make some really good looking stuff, and really, it's funny on their custom putter design studio webs like on the web page. All four of the examples that they show are lefty.
Yeah.
Um,
Big lefties.
but I'm going with Crew. I'm gonna go with their answer style, which is the classic. I'm gonna go carbon steel. I'm not a stainless guy. I'm going says you can do like a 2-ton chromo bronze, 2-tone chromo bronze. So I think I'm gonna try that. I'm going smooth face. And on this one, I think I'm gonna go. Do I go plumber's neck just to change it up? I'm gonna go plumber's neck just to change it up. You can actually they'll mill the bumpers, which is kind of
Ooh.
cool. I'm going smooth bumpers though, even though the mill bumper looks kind of cool. Um, I'm gonna go. This is interesting. On their sight alignment, they do not have the option for no alignment aid.
Wow.
So I'm sure you probably can. It's just they don't have it on here. Their standard loft is 3.5. I'm probably gonna go up to 4.5. You can only go up or down 1 degree and lie. So I'll go 1 degree flat, 34 inches. I'm gonna go satin black shaft. Sneaky love the satin black shaft.
Ooh. Okay.
More so
Okay.
than more so than the matte. I'll go black grip. I'll go crew in the cavity. I'll put my name on the bumpers and I'll put oh, actually I'm gonna change that up. I want crew in the cavity in like a graffiti type font.
Okay.
My
Okay.
initials on the left bumper and then the year on the right bumper. And then probably some kind of logo of theirs on the heel of the face. And I'll go blank
Okay.
skull and I'll go welded plumber's neck if possible. And then I'll go sound slot.
Ooh. Ooh. And how much are we talking roundabout? Do you think you would have in that?
Okay, so they start at 800. I'm trying to see if it says anything like when you go to, yeah, they start at 800. So I'm gonna say with the weld neck and everything, I think I'll probably be at between 1,000 and 1,200.
Okay. Okay. That's kind of where I am with my 1,000 to 2. So uh, for that one, I'm gonna go with O and Co. Um, yeah, I know. I figured once I said that you would have that reaction. Um, their putters start sub 1,000, but by the time I got done adding all my options to it, I'm gonna be well over 1,000. Um, I'm just gonna go with their answer slash Newport style head. I'm not gonna lie, the more that I've seen this putter pop up of theirs, the more I'm falling in love with it. It's kind of a copy of Zach Blair's Hexy Sexy, with the welded kind of flow neck. There's just one milled dot in the cavity. Um, I don't know, smooth face. There again, if I could get the tungsten added to the sole of it, I would. It seems like those guys can do about anything. Um, Man, part of me wants to go just naked on the alignment aid, um, just to try it and see from there. I've always wanted to take a putter with no alignment aid and draw on the different ones and see which one I putt better with. So take the head,
And
maybe put a Sharpie, take a Sharpie, put a dot, try that. You can always take acetone and get that off, put a line on top, and just try different alignment aids to see which one. I mean, you could do it well enough to where it almost looks like it was milled on, and then and then you can send it in somewhere. You can send it back to them, or you can send it to and have that done. So that would be my dream to be able to do that, and I hope one day I can make that happen. So. I expect it to be at the 1,250 to 1,300 mark by the time I've added everything to it. But
I would
O and Co's got to be my 1,000 to 2,000.
Yeah, I would like to officially apologize to the folks at O because I completely just dropped the ball and didn't even think about them. I mean, they probably they might have been in one of those two um original ones. There's a good chance there in one of the
Yeah.
two most expensive categories. So great call. Totally dropped the ball on them. I mean, I still like my two, but O and Co definitely be fighting for a spot there. I just totally blanked on him. So very good call.
Thank you.
That was a miss.
Thank you.
Swing and a miss.
All right. So high roller, where are we going?
High roller, dude. I think if I could, I would probably go. There's a couple head shapes that I would consider. I would probably go Cameron and Company Newport 2 GSS, which I'm not a stainless person typically, but the head shape that it
Yeah, you're not stainless, but you're going GSS with it.
well, it's the head shape. It's the Cameron and Company head shape that he had on those Newport 2s um back in the day. I had one at one point when they were much less expensive than they are now. I wish I still had it because now it's worth about 5 or 6 times what it was worth when I had it. Um, but
So if you're a tour player, let's say, and you have access to anything, and he approaches you and says, Parker, for you, I'd really like to do a Cameron and Company head shape, but in carbon. Are you down?
yeah, I'm totally down. I'm totally down. And the thing is, like, I really like the 009. Honestly, I really like the Super Rat with the insert, like a black
Mhm.
Super Rat. Um, I just, you and I are both longtime Cameron guys. We've been doing it. I mean, I got my first Cameron probably 20 years ago at this point.
I'm
Something,
17 years ago, so
yeah, something like
actually
that.
18 years ago, actually.
And it's just been a really fun hobby. It's transitioned a lot to the negative, in my opinion, unfortunately. Back in the day when Camera Collector was really hopping, it was really good. Back in
Hmm.
like the early 2000s to the mid 2000 teens, whatever you want to call it. Like that was prime, probably years in my really getting into it. That was when it was probably at its huge peak. Other than maybe after like Tiger won the Masters, after Bernhard, that kind of stuff. But like the collecting at peak.
Yeah.
Um, like Camera Collector was so good. There was a Yahoo forum back in the day, but Camera Collector was so good. There were a lot of really big time collectors and ended up leaving Camera Collector, which is sad for one reason or another. A lot of people got into flipping stuff, which I probably have less of a problem with people flipping if it's just like, I mean, if you can get a product and turn around and sell it, and you're not like lying about it or doing anything that's like immoral about it. Like if somebody wants to pay, if they want it bad enough to pay more for it, I'm not going to fault somebody for flipping something that they can get. It's the way the world works. That may be the only way that people can afford to make their light bills that month or whatever. Like that may be a way that they're able to take their family on vacation, or maybe a way that they're able to stay in the hobby or whatever. So I don't really have a problem with the flippers, but a lot of people did. And I think it turned a lot of people off to Scotty Cameron and just in particular into the hobby. A lot of
Hmm.
people don't like, they want to knock the people that are at the top, just in general. And I like a lot of other putter manufacturers a lot, clearly. But I like Scotty Cameron too. And, the hobby itself really started with Scotty, in my opinion. It really kicked off, at least with Scotty, in my opinion. I won't say it started with him because people have been collecting pings and stuff for a long time, but Scotty just took it to another level. Um, it's interesting. It's interesting to see what's happened um, with Scotty just over the last
Hmm.
since COVID. Like I feel like a lot of the collectors have exited, but a lot of the prices have skyrocketed, and a lot of the stuff I think is cool and that I like is gone down in price, and a lot of the stuff that I don't really understand has gone up in price, and So it's just a weird market. It's not as good as it was. Unfortunately, there's just not as many people in it, and it's just too bad because the relationships are a lot of it. But it's still a lot of fun. So that got way off topic, but yeah, Cameron and Company, Newport too. Um, maybe even with some tungsten weights in the sole, probably line on top. Um, I'm going, just a regular stainless finish. I'll throw my name or initials on there. Probably do some kind of cool design in the cavity. Um, I'd love to have like some like an old school script Titleist and maybe some kind of dots or something, just some cool stamping. Um, Probably throw some cool
I
paint.
know you were always a big fan of the Peace of Mind stamp.
I love the Peace of Mind stamp. I'm not sure where that falls in the timeline of the Cameron and Company head shape, but yeah, I love that stamp too.
Okay. Man, I'm right there with you. I mean, Cameron is that's the brand that got me into collecting. I mean, I'm just being honest. It's when I bought that first one, it it I mean, I had put it with a two ball forever. Well, not forever, 2, 3 years. And, the Circa 62 line hit, and I saw it in a Golfsmith magazine, and I fell in love with the shapes. I found one, still have it. And it's in mint condition, man. I could sell that thing for 10 out of 10 unused. I mean, it's hit some putts, but it doesn't look like it's minty, Um, and I don't know, then the head cover thing kind of grabbed me. And I like to sort of express myself through the bag. Um, I change head covers so frequent. I change bags so frequent just because I like cool stuff, and I also like in a non-bragging way, I like to show off what I have. And and my thought process, which this rarely happens, is that it'll strike a conversation with somebody that we can start talking golf, or we can start talking putters, or we can have that. But I find that so rarely people collect head covers or stuff like that. I mean, but when I do find that unicorn situation, man, it ends up being like a 2 hour conversation with somebody. And like you said, it creates that relationship and those friendships. And I guess that's what I really like about this hobby, of golf in general, of head covers and putters and stuff. But uh, back to the thing. I'm designing my own. I'm reaching out to Cameron. I'm asking him to crank out an old JAT head. Um, probably very simple. Titleist in the cavity. I'm probably going to throw a Hothead Harry stamp on there. Tons of gestures or scrolling or skull and crossbone stamps. Um, I always liked, he did it with the Delmar 3.5 and the JET, was that little like vertical top line that was about the width of the ball. I always thought that was a very cool sight line. Um, there again, it'd be triple black finish, off white paint fill, probably some red in the Circle T, and orange and purple and blue. I like, actually, you know what? I'd probably stay with the colors of off white for the alignment aids, off white in the Titleist, but then like the Circle T, the gestures, the skull and crossbone, and a Hothead Harry. I'd probably do in like elementary colors. I love the red, blue, yellow, and green. Kind of the dot colors in the Studio
Stainless.
stainless line. Yep. Yep, I love that colorway. The latest irons I built for myself was a set of Callaway MB Raws. I put some S300s. I went old school well, not old school. I went with the mids, so it's S300 115s. But I put some BBF and Co. elementary colored ferrules. I think they are fantastic looking ferrules. Um, uh,
Let's
and
make a
and
t-shirt.
yeah, man,
Feral
that would be
Freak.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I have a Vans shoebox full of BBF and Co Ferrells. Um, I love them. I think there again. I think it's a really cool way to express yourself, kinda, and um, I'm a big fan of the Serape Ferrells, which if that's mine and Ashley's wedding anniversary, Cinco de Mayo. So there's always I try to at least always have one thing on my bag that is sort of Mexican themed, just for like a knock at my anniversary. So, but yeah, JAT, very simple, probably on the face, on the heel. I'm going dancing Scotty Cameron, small font with a circle T on the extreme heel. Um, and yeah, I'm going to throw my initials on there because if that putter ever entered my collection, I don't sell anything anyway, hardly, but for sure, if any JAT ends up in my collection, for sure, it's never leaving it. I mean, there's a reason why the few that are out there, the people just won't let them go, and the ones that do have them want just an astronomical amount for them. There's one guy he is willing to part with it, but it's about three times what it's worth in my opinion.
Yeah, there's very
But I
few of
don't.
those in lefty.
So there, that's my dream putter. At some point in my life, I hope I can add it to the collection. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell.
I hear you. There was a putter I've wanted since I remember seeing it in college. I think I was going through the registry, and I think it was made for a Japanese collector, maybe, and it's a Tour JAT, and it has a tungsten weight right in the middle of the back wall, like
You showed me
middle
that
of the
one time.
sight line on the back wall. It's like the most unique tungsten weight placement I've seen, and it's something about that just kind of stuck out as cool.
Yep, yep. You showed me that one time. And I mean, I say that as my grail, but I really love the collection that I have. I wouldn't change it. I like it. All the putters in my collection, other than the 009, man, they're so unique and so different. I mean, center shafted, a long slant, a Napa. I mean, it's unique putters that aren't high, a mid slant center shaft. I mean, the putters that are in my collection, they're so unique. Um, so I love my collection. I really do. Like I don't, I mean, of course I always want other putters, but at the same time, as corny as it is, I can think about the collection I have, and it always puts a smile on my face because I know it's a collection that a lot of people would love to have, and I'm glad I've got it. I'm thankful for what I've got.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things like I'm getting to a point now. I don't think I was really like this at one point early on, but now it's like the stuff that I seem to like is like the either kind of funky or just there's something different.
Hmm.
Like and I think that's why I like a lot of the boutique guys because there's not it's not another like you know CNC like one of 3,000 that were made, and I like the stuff
Yeah.
that's just a little bit different. Um, because you just can't really find that stuff everywhere. So I my
Mm-mm.
my purchases lately have really dwindled, and a lot of that, I mean, most of that has to do with the financial side of you
Yeah.
buy everything.
100%.
You can't buy everything, but there just hasn't been as much, I guess, lately where I'm just like, oh man, I need to sell stuff or whatever to be able to pick that up. I'm starting to get a
Yeah.
little picky, I guess, is what I'm saying. But I've probably got a
Yeah, and
stuff.
it's been fun for me too, especially with my swag covers. I was able to actually pick up 8 covers the other day. I don't have them yet, but I was able to pick up a collection of the 8 Serapes from Swag. One person had them. They had all the different stitching options for the skull. Um,
Wow.
so it's been fun because I've actually been selling quite a few swag covers here lately because I guess I'm kind of to the point, and it's taken me 20 years to get here, or 18 years for being technical. Um, I'm finding my lane. I'm finding what when I either open a bag or I see it hanging on the display or I see it in the, actually in play, and it makes me smile. I'm finding the things that bring me joy when I see them in the bag. And some don't, early on, man. If it had Cameron stitched on it, I'm putting a bid in on it. Did I love it? Probably not. But I'm like, well, I can add it to the collection. It's really been fun to do what people were talking about on TCC back in the day of finding your lane and going with it. And I'm telling you, man, it actually makes the hunt a lot more fun.
That's a good point you bring up. I think it does make the hunt more fun because you know what you're looking for, and it's a much
Hmm.
bigger deal when you find something. Um, I'm still having a hard time. Like, I'm still very like quantity. My collection is very quantity heavy. Um, like there's quality in there, but I also just have probably too much. And I've tried to move some stuff that doesn't quite strike me like everything else does, but I'm really getting to the point
Hmm.
where I'm having a hard time with like what's left. It's like, man, that's oh, that's a some kind of prototype that there's only one of, or there's only 10
Yeah,
of those,
yeah,
or whatever. It's like I'm having a hard time getting rid of anything that's left, but it's like if I don't, like I'm I'm not going to be able to add much either. So
yeah.
I don't know. And then you get all these auctions that come along, and you finally find something that you're like, ooh, I would really like to get that. And I'm bad to wait till the last minute to like try to sell stuff like the day before the stuff's supposed to end. And so I don't know. I
Yeah,
probably
and I think social media has really hurt people like you and I, where it's not even social media. It's just platforms. Man, you finally feel like, all right, my collection's complete, and then Gold Age will throw an auction up, or the golf auction, or you'll see an eBay thing, or a person on Instagram selling. Like there's so many outlets now to buy stuff that I swear you could find something at each outlet probably every week that you're like, wish I had that. Where, you rewind this 15 years ago, man, you're waiting 1 year for maybe a sale, and then it's something like that. Like, it's just there's so much available now, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I just want something from everything, or I want, a little something from each place.
Yeah, and a lot of times I try to like, because I kind of like sports cards too. I did growing up a lot.
Hmm.
I collected a lot, and like I was into the Pokemon thing when I was younger, and some of that's still interesting too. But like the sports card stuff, I follow that. I don't really buy much in it, but I really enjoy following it because I can see myself getting back into it a little bit more at times, and it's kind of fun because it's like playing the stock market.
Yeah.
It can be, you have your personal collection, and then you have stuff that you buy to sell. So it's a little bit
Yeah.
more transactional than the putter market has been. If the sports card market was treated like the putter market, people would be all up in arms because a lot of people, that's what they do. They buy cards and then they take it and they mark it up 20% and they sell it. And if people do that in the putter world, a lot of people lose their mind and they call them a flipper and they say you need to get out of here and go collect something else.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just interesting because you've got you want to invest in a player or whatever, and so it's fun to watch that, and like your PC or whatever. Like I'm trying to figure out my PC. Like what do
Hmm.
I want? Like what do I consider like a well-rounded putter collection that I mean, honestly, we all only need one putter. But, from maybe a flawed perspective, like what would be a good putter collection that would have a variety to where like when you want to go change it up, you can change it up. Um, Different brands, different manufacturers, different looks, different shapes, all that stuff. And
Hmm.
then, still maybe have some room to play here or there. And like, do you do it where you have like a certain number? Like I can only have X amount. If I see
Yeah.
something I like, I got to move something else to get it. I'm not good at that. Like I'm not good at setting that boundary. Like I'm only going to have X number of putters, and if I get something else, I got to move something out. I get too
You
attached.
used to be though. I feel like you've gotten worse as you've gotten older. I feel like you take Parker from 10 years ago, you were okay to because that's what I struggled with. You and I have flipped spots, I feel like. Because you go back 10 years ago and you would see something. I feel like you were willing to part with a lot to get that, to keep the hunt going.
Yeah, and that's probably that. Yeah, that may be the case. Like I just don't like. I have I have the putter closet, and like what's in there right now, 90% of it, like I really don't want to get rid of. I told you I did the spreadsheet, and I
Hmm.
tiered every putter that I've found so far. I've put it in a tier of like 1 to 5. So anything that's basically like a 4 for sure, because 4 is like basically anything that's for sale. Fives are like not worth anything. Um,
Yeah.
and threes are like stuff that I could sell if I had to. So I like it would probably be good if I could start getting rid of all my threes.
Okay.
Because like
Okay.
there would be some value there that would clear up for like when I find another one or two.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
hard because the threes are some of the threes are, you know,
Yeah.
man, those are really, really kind of cool.
How many ones did you have?
I mean, I can tell you if you want to know.
Yeah, I'm curious. How many I mean, I'm looking at ones, kind of like grails, like you've obtained grails.
Okay. Um, let's see. I can go through it real quick.
Dude, that glare on your glasses, I mean, it is glowing.
Uh, I'll give you a round number because well, it'd be a lot easier. In fact, let me just sort it real quick. Entertain the people
Okay.
for a second while I do this.
Yeah. Um, and that's kind of what I've started doing. I'm still working on my golf room, man. I feel like that's a 15-year project. Um, but I've kind of done that sort of with head covers because for some reason head covers are tough for me to let go. I feel like I'm more willing to let go of a putter than I am a cover. So I've really had to like that. That's what I've had to focus when I say my lane on is really covers because that's where the quantity has been. Um, but man, the issue here lately has been with swag, and I'll just you know I'll get on my soapbox here for a minute. It's just the amount that's being released, man. I feel like it's affecting the value horribly. Um, I mean covers that were worth 12, $1,500 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Man, they're like 500 now, which is still a lot for a cover, but man, that's tanked. When they're worth less than half of what they were, that's not good.
Yeah.
Um, when I got the covers, I wasn't looking at them from an investment aspect. I got them because I liked them. But if I ever decide to sell them, like I'm going to take a hit on them right now unless something changes. Um, so it's tough. I mean, ooh, I mean, the number of swag covers, and I'm talking cool covers that you can find now for sub $125, it's insane. And
Yeah.
4 years ago, dude, you couldn't find a cover under 250.
Yeah. There's just, I mean, part of me, part of me likes it because it makes stuff more affordable, and there's a lot of options,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's cool. Um, but from the collecting side of it, it does think there's just too much. If you're a collector
Yeah.
and you're doing it as an investment or partially as an investment, there's just too much. If you just like to see all the stuff, then it's probably fine, and it makes it cheaper and it
Yeah.
makes it more available. Um, all right. Do you want to know the number? It's kind of embarrassing, but
Yeah. How many number ones?
86.
Wow. Okay.
Now, close to 40 of those, 30, 35 of those
Hmm.
are Xenons
Okay. Okay.
because I don't
Wow.
want to get rid of them.
Is
Like
that the that's gotta be up there with one of the bigger Xenon collections, I feel like.
I I mean, I have no idea. I would I hope so. I have
Are
no
we
idea.
talking to the world's biggest Xenon
I don't know.
collector?
It's possible. It's possible. I'm trying to get more. And like there were two. There were two that I found, like they're hard to find. There were two that I found that were cool that I was going to trade for, and I didn't get stuff done in time, and then they both got moved on, and I missed out on
Mm.
two of them. So like that's the part. Like I would rather have those probably than some of the stuff that's like up there. But
Yeah.
I got to do it.
Wow. That's impressive, man. I did not realize you had that many Xenon. I knew
I
you
don't
had
know
some
exactly.
Xenon, but I didn't know you had that many.
Well, I mean, a lot of them came in the collection I bought. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I literally only had two, maybe
Okay.
three.
Okay.
So let's say 30 of them plus came in that collection. Clearly, the guy that I got him from,
Yeah.
clearly Jim liked Xenon too, and I do as well. So,
That's
um,
awesome.
yeah, so that's a majority. I mean, those aren't very expensive. Some of them are more expensive than others, but those
Yeah.
aren't like hugely expensive putters by any means. It's not like having
That's
36
awesome.
009s.
Uh, well, this was fun, man. I enjoyed it. I would keep talking, but I don't know that my phone's gonna last.
Yeah, yeah, no, I hear you. We need to let the people go. Um, I know this has been kind of a weird run of episodes where it's just G and I talking, but it's been kind of fun for us. Um, I know we keep talking about it, but there's some people that want to see some PC stuff. So I let you in a little bit of my world there on the PC side of things with my spreadsheet. But we're gonna get on that. I'm gonna try to get on that. If I put a date out there, I kind of have to live up to it. So I'm gonna try to do some more content with my own PC, kind of in July and August. Um, we'll do some with Glenn whenever he's ready. I won't put a date on it for him,
Yeah, sure.
but whenever he's ready, and
I would like to do it tomorrow. I mean, like I said, I like show and tell, and I feel like it's good involvement um, for people to at least see. And I too, I think it's good for people to share their stuff because you've said it in the past. If if I'm showing you a putter, I'm a collector. Let's just say I'm right-handed. I'm a collector of cameras or something, and you're watching it and you see a putter that you've been after for a long time, but you did not know where it ended up. Now that gives me a chance to reach out to that person and, hey man, hey girl, would you ever consider selling that? That's kind of a dream putter of mine, and I feel like it just opens up the community. Hidden collections are great, but at the same time, it opens up a world for the community to interact.
yeah, 100%. And it's like I'm gonna start probably beating this spreadsheet to death, and everybody will get tired of it. But it's like, let's say like we're doing the collections, and like I'm showing some of these putters that are like, twos or threes for me, which are like, let's say it's a three, like it's a good putter that I like that I would like to keep if possible, but I would sell it if the right opportunity came along. But somebody else has been
Yeah,
looking for that one, and they're like, dude, that's a one for me. Let's figure something out. Then that
yeah,
if you just hide them away and nobody knows about it, there is something to be said for that too, but it doesn't help anybody else either. So we want to do that. We want to, kind of talk about what we have, but we want to do it the right way to where it's not weird. I think that's probably what's kept us from doing it a lot is just, you don't want to be that guy that's just like, hey, look at what all I got. Because I mean,
yeah. Look
trust
at my
me,
stuff.
I have seen, I know of people with a lot more. skin in the game than I have. So it's not like I'm trying to say that we have like, top 10 in the world collections, but they're ours. It's what we like, and if people want to see them, I'm happy to show some of our stuff. So we got that coming up. Really, the next episode is what we're planning for the next episode is going to be hugely fun for us. Gigantically, awesomely fun for us. And I think that once we fill everybody in on what that's going to be about, I think we will have a lot of people interested in that. We will definitely allow. We want people to send in questions, so
Yeah.
I think you're gonna want to ask questions to the people that we have coming on. One of the guests is a former guest. The other one's a first timer, but I think if you've been in this world,
True.
even for a little bit, these are people that you'll want to ask questions to.
This is a big one.
So I really think it's going to be a lot of fun. So um, I don't know how we're going to do it. I guess we'll just do it via Zoom, and then we'll turn it into a podcast. It'd be tough to do it kind of live, but maybe we'll do it live. I don't know, but should see something along those lines in hopefully the next couple weeks. So by mid-July, that episode should.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you.
Yeah, man. Good to see you as usual. Sorry about
Yeah.
the window, but
No, you're good. It worked out. It worked out. So we made it happen. I feel like this was a good episode. I don't know. I was just sitting around one night. I was like, we ought to design our own putters, but do it in different categories because I don't know. That's just something. I mean, I guess I'm a nerd, but I guess that's just what I daydream about in my spare time of driving or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, I would do that, or no, I would do that. Right now, I'm actually trying to. My thinking is I'm trying to take a retail putter. I'm going to send it off and have somebody do a lot of modifications to it to make it something that I really want. And I'm okay with that. Tour putters, I'm a big guitar guy too, man. It's like when I see guitarists smashing a guitar on a stage, it just cringes all over me. I kind of get that way when I see people sending tour putters to other people to have them modified. Um, but you got to do what you got to do, And if it's a budget thing, I understand it. But at the same time, I'm like, oh. But I'm taking a retail head and I'm turning it into um, a putter that I've wanted for a long time. That probably just isn't going to happen. But I'm okay chopping up a retail.
yeah, I'm interested to see and hear about that. So you'll have to let us know
So
on that, and we
I
will
will. We'll see.
let's show that one
But
to people.
all right, guys. Well, until next time, keep the 3 putts to a minimum and enjoy yourself out there. It's 4 hours, guys. Don't make it brutal on yourself. Smile every now and then.
That's right. It's a great season for golf, unless you're in Australia. It's the winter time, or somewhere else in the southern hemisphere, or whatever it is. So,
All
yeah.
right, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right. See you, man.
Everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.